there's been a lot of back and forth with this whole Activision Blizzard deal, and that revenue is something we got from it. But another thing we're seeing is how the CMA, which I wrote this down. What does that stand for? Do you know what that stands for, Josh? Competitive
I heard it.
and Marketing Authority. Competition and Marketing Authority. And this is an organization in the UK that has stopped a lot of acquisitions, actually. And they are now going hard on investigating this and even going as far as going to phase 2 of it. And they are definitely starting to see the PlayStation side of things. And I'll put some stuff on screen here, but essentially Sony told the UK that they believe some Call of Duty players are likely to switch to Xbox even if the series remains on PlayStation following the acquisition. Which, no shit, some of them are going to move.
Yeah.
But the thing that's interesting is that they're saying, where is it? I have it on screen here because I want to make sure I'm not just saying this, that you guys can see this. Where is it? Well, it's somewhere on screen here. Oh, here we go. Yep. So Sony Entertainment Interactive told the CMA that even if COD games remained available on PlayStation, following the merger, the merged entity would be able to engage in a partial foreclosure by increasing the differentiation between the versions of COD and available on Xbox and the different versions of COD available on Xbox and PlayStation. So, and they're basically getting at, Xbox will potentially have extra content, enhanced interoperability, I don't know what that word is, with the console hardware, in addition to any benefits from the membership in things like Xbox Game Pass. So they're worried that even if, cool, you're going to give us Call of Duty, but the problem is that you're going to have more things for Call of Duty players than we do. You've been doing that for the past 5 years.
Yeah, that's like PlayStation's whole thing with Call of Duty.
That's the thing that they have with many other things. If you want to get Spider-Man in the Marvel's Avengers game, you have to play it on PlayStation. If you want early access to this multiplayer beta, you gotta get it on PlayStation.
They're basically just saying what Microsoft is thinking, or even saying. I doubt Microsoft would deny this stuff. This is what we want, and this
that's why we're spending the money to do this.
Yeah, this is what companies do. I don't know. It just seemed very odd that they would come out and say this, because it's I just don't see how this is a bad thing necessarily. It's basically what's already happening. Yeah, like you said. Yeah,
and another thing that's kind of interesting is that in this whole back and forth, they're even why can't I? Oh no, I've lost my full screen. Basically, they've gotten at how they're admitting that they are in last place. So and it's what they're, I guess, the card that they're having to play. But I guess Microsoft said in response to all this, all these unsupported theories, I don't see how it justifies going to phase 2. The suggestion that the incumbent market leader, aka Sony PlayStation, with a clear and enduring market power, could be foreclosed by the third largest provider as a result of losing access to one title is not credible. And there's other spots that that even call out, this is from IGN. While Microsoft didn't share figures, the company says that if every single Call of Duty player on PlayStation's consoles switched to Xbox, the PlayStation gamer base remaining would still be larger than Xbox has. That's hilarious, and they're probably right.
Oh, I'm sure that's a indisputable fact. I don't think they would have said it otherwise.
Because there's not firm numbers. There is something here that says the citing an install base of 150 million on PlayStation versus 63 million on Xbox. That's a big difference.
It's a big difference, yeah. And so this is just kind of surprising to come from a regulator, but I mean, I don't know what to make of it, but I don't think that I do want to be clear. Microsoft is no small fry here. They are. For sure. I mean, Microsoft is a much bigger company than Sony, But Xbox is not as big of a video game revenue generator as PlayStation. So
for sure,
they are able to play that card, like you said. But it's a little misleading for them to be like, yeah, we're to come out and be like act as if they're like as if third place puts them at a huge disadvantage. It just means that they're in third place, and they're not at risk of becoming a monopolistic like conglomerate that is going to squash Sony with the snap of their finger or anything like that.
Yeah. And the main part about this story to me is I just think it's hilarious of them to say, and especially for even the CMA, not just because 100% I get why Sony's fighting like this. They don't want to lose probably a massive property of theirs. And the way they're doing it is it makes them seem like, and I almost wonder, like, wait a minute, is Call of Duty actually like half of your revenue? Is that like what you're not telling us? Are you trying to hide? Like, is Call of Duty like a big part of how you're still functioning? But the other side of it is that the CMA actually is like going along with this. Like, it's not just Sony saying this. Like, this organization is really like diving into it, and they're actually believing it. And people have put out like the actual documents, and they're actually really buying into it. And I don't know. It could be interesting to see where that goes, but that's just a very kind of personal talk there.
Yeah. Yeah. The only pass I give Sony or PlayStation is they kind of have to do this out of obligation. Like they have to fight for their business and for their consumers. I just wish they would do it in a way. I wish at the end of these statements, they would say, if you're a PlayStation gamer, don't worry, we've got your back. We're going to come out with stuff that is going to kick ass and you're going to love it. But they don't seem to do that.
Right. Exactly. I see Steffi in the chat. PlayStation just doesn't want to share and making a scene about it, basically. Whereas Xbox didn't even need to do the stuff that they're doing. They're being very generous as it is, but it's not enough apparently. So, anyways, and there's another person in the chat. Sony, please stop whining and just compete. And the exclusive quest from Hogwarts Legacy on PlayStation. Come on.
Which is a big game. Like that's going to be one of the biggest games of early next year.
It's so contradictory. It's hilarious. That's what I mean. Like this whole back and forth, like some of it's hilarious and some of it's concerning when like the CMA folks actually buy into it. I don't know.
I also wonder if like Blizzard employees are like, dude, what about Diablo or what about Overwatch? Like, does that mean anything to anybody? But like Call of Duty just dominates.
Like, they're just talking about COD, which granted, that's because COD is massive. It's like the biggest seller every year kind of a thing. So that's fair. But
it's like they could put Diablo on Game Pass and nowhere and strip it from PlayStation.
PlayStation's like, we don't care about it.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
Yeah.